Firearms Amendment Bill 2015 first stage. I call on Deputy Robert Dowds to move for leave to introduce the bill.
I seek leave to introduce this Yaskan Corla, and if I may say a few words on this. First of all, can I emphasise this is about illegal firearms, not legal firearms. Okay. Some time ago, I had the sad occasion to visit a family where a man was shot and left in a vegetative state, shot by somebody wielding an illegal firearm, and mistaken, in a case of mistaken identity. And this sort of thing is far too frequent in this country. Less than 4 weeks ago, on the 28th of February, an 11-year-old child was shot in his own home in Tala. 2 days later, a 6-year-old girl riding on a motorcycle narrowly avoided being killed when a bullet struck her helmet. 3 weeks ago, on the 5th of March, a pregnant woman and her partner in my constituency were both shot. And last June, a 6-year-old boy was shot in Ballyfermot, and I understand that very sadly he's paralysed for life and will never walk again. There are dozens more examples of shootings and murders that I could list. The streets of Dublin must not become a hunting ground for violent criminals, or indeed the streets of any other town or city in this country. And we must not allow innocent children to become gangland victims. However, from these examples, it's clear that the state and the criminal justice system is failing these children and other innocent victims of gun crime. It's vitally important that we in this chamber and across wider society don't become desensitised to these atrocities just because they've become so frequent. Gun crime and gangland murders are a serious issue for the people of this country, and there are entire neighbourhoods across the state, including in my own constituency, where people are living in fear because of gangland criminals. Decent, hard-working people living in communities in this country are under constant threat from falling foul of these ruthless criminals. The most serious crime in our society is to deliberately take the life of another human being. This crime carries out a mandatory sentence of life imprisonment. However, even if a successful conviction is brought, it's of little consolation to the victim or to their family. The Gardaí are genuinely doing their best to tackle this problem, but what we need to do is to be proactive about preventing these shootings before they occur. After 2 men were shot dead within the space of 6 days of each other in my constituency some time ago, I spoke to Detective Gardaí working on the front line about what I could do. The response was that while there's nothing you can do after the fact to prevent these murders, we need to make it riskier and more difficult for criminals to possess, store, transport or hold guns. If we increase the severity of the punishment for being caught with weapons, illegal weapons and ammunition, it will make it riskier and more difficult for gangs to find people who would be willing to store and transport these weapons for them. It will make it riskier for these weapons to be transported before they are used for murder. It will be a direct way of confronting the support system that's used for these murders. The more pressure that's put on gangland criminals who use firearms, the more difficult it will be for them to plan and carry out murderous gun attacks. I believe we need to send a message to all criminals who engage in gun crime. And the message from the Dáil needs to be that the state is going to come after you if you hold guns illegally, and you are going to go to prison for a considerable amount of time if you're caught with a gun. That message must go to every community and every person who would consider using guns illegally. It's my belief that the current criminal system is not acting as an effective deterrent to people possessing illegal firearms. To give you an example, when I researched the issue, I came across a case of an individual who was caught red-handed in possession of an AK-47 Kalashnikov assault rifle and the relevant ammunition. The presumptive minimum sentence for holding any type of illegal firearm is 5 years, never mind an AK-47. However, the judge in this case handed down a sentence of 4 years. The DPP was forced to appeal the sentence on the grounds of undue leniency, costing the state money, and successfully had the sentence increased, but only to the minimum of 5 years. If we're serious about tackling gun crime, we need laws to reflect this commitment. And this is what my bill is about. As a legislator, I'm rightly barred from any interference in the operation of the criminal justice system, but I am in a position to propose changes. That's why I'm introducing this Firearms Amendment Bill 2015. My bill aims to increase the presumptive minimum sentence guidelines for gun crime so that any person who considers purchasing, possessing or having anything to do with illegal firearms knows that if convicted they will face serious penalties. As the law stands currently, there are a number of offences which attract a 5-year minimum sentence, such as the possession of a firearm or ammunition in suspicious circumstances, carrying a firearm or intimidation firearm with intent to commit an indictable offence or resist arrest or similar offences. But the minimum 5 years is almost never actually served in prison by the person convicted. My bill, sorry Chair, I'm almost finished. My bill would increase the presumptive minimum sentence for these crimes from 5 to 7 years, while keeping the maximum sentence at 14. At present, the offence of firearms with intent to endanger life and using firearms to assist or aid an escape attracts a 10-year presumptive minimum sentence. Under my bill, this presumptive minimum sentence is increased to 13 years. The maximum sentence for life imprisonment remains the same. The bill does still allow for judges to have some discretion. We need to take every step possible to tackle organised crime in Ireland. The bill aims to deter people from engaging in any activity involving unlicensed firearms. The message must go out loud and clear that the possession of an illegally held firearm the possessor of a legally held firearm will lead to a lengthy time behind bars.
Thank you very much,
and in absolute conclusion,
are you sure?
Can I just refer? Sorry, this is not a funny matter.
I know it's not funny, but you're over time, Deputy.
At 11 a.m. this morning, 2 men were shot in Drumcondra, one of whom is now dead. This is an issue right across the state that we must deal with. So I move.
Thank you very much, Deputy. Is the bill being opposed? No. Not opposed. If not opposed, I declare the motion for leave to introduce agreed. Since this is a private member's bill, second stage must understanding orders be taken in private member's time. The Deputy should therefore move that the second stage be taken in private member's time.
I move.
Is that agreed? Agreed. Thank you.